World around us is full of inequality. But what comes to your mind when you think about inequality? Look around you. Marks. Some students get more marks, some get less. Taller. Some students are taller, some are shorter. Poor, rich. Some families are poorer, some families are rich. But how much more, how much less? How much more intelligent, how much less intelligent? How do we measure that? And that's what we are going to learn today in this chapter of inequality. But with these two amazing friends of mine, Mr. Strong and Mr. Shaky. Mr. Strong is very strong. Mr. Shaky is also strong, more strong than me at least, but lesser than this Mr. Strong. So, see one thing, Mr. Strong can lift all the weights up to 200 kgs, including 200 kgs, and Mr. Shaky can lift all the weights up to 100 kgs, including 100 kg. But this is too much to write, right? So many words, sentence. Is there an easy way to represent this? Let's see. So in this chapter of inequality, what we'll learn to represent this like this. Say X is the weight that Mr. Strong can lift. All the weights less than 200 kgs, but also equal to 200 kgs. So Mr. Strong can lift all the weights less than or equal to 200 kgs. And similarly, Mr. Shaky. Mr. Shaky can lift all the weights less than 100 kgs, like 50, 30, 70 kgs, but also equal to 100 kgs. Well, let's learn this properly through my digital board. Come to the classroom. A greater than B. How do we represent that? A greater than B. Let's see. So A greater than B can be represented by A greater than B. A greater than or can also be equal to B. How do you represent that? A is greater than or equal to B. Right, kids? So this is very important. It is like the mathematics ka language, the language of maths, which will be very important in all the chapters ahead. Similarly, let's see A less than B, A less than B, and A is less than B, or A can also be equal to B. I'm happy with A being equal to B as well. So let us see how do we represent that. A is less than B, or A can also be equal to B. So A greater than B, A less than or equal to B, A less than B, A less than or equal to B. Focus on the word or here. Right. Now, let us dive in to understand more. So till now, what you have learned till class 10th, you have learned to deal with equations like this. Say minus 9x minus 18 equal to 0. You know how to solve it. Can you solve it? Tell me the answer in the chat. Yes, what's the answer? Quick. X is minus 9x is equal to 18. You can divide by minus 9, or minus 9 goes on the other side, giving you x is equal to minus 2. This is the answer. You have done this. But my question is, what is going to be the answer here? Can we use the same rules which we did for equations? Can we use the same rules for inequations? No, and that is what we are going to learn. I really don't know, rather you really don't know right now, that what will be the answer here. Is it greater than or equal to or less than or equal to minus 2? This is what we are going to learn, and by the end of this class, you will have learned to solve all these kind of inequalities. You already know how to solve all these equations. Now you will learn how to solve all these inequations. Alright, so should we dive in? Come on, let's go ahead. So the purpose of today's class is to learn if A is greater than B, if it is given to me. What if I add or subtract something on both sides? What if I multiply something on both sides? And what if I divide something on both sides? What will the inequality be? What will the inequality be is what we are going to learn in today's class. Let's go ahead with a nice example. So Mr. Strong and Mr. Shaky. So they lift barbells. What do we call these? These are called barbells. So they lift these two barbells, right? So Mr. Strong lifts a higher weight or more weight as compared to Mr. Shaky. So 100 kgs is greater than 80 kgs. What Mr. Strong lifts as compared to what Mr. Shaky lifts, right? So focus on the inequality. A is greater than B. What if I add equal weights to both the barbells? What happens if I add equal weights? So what I've done, I've added 20 kgs to this one as well as 20 kgs to this one. Will the nature of the inequality between them change? No. Look at this. यहाँ पे कितना है 180. What is here? 180. What I've done, I've added 20. So this has become 120 and this has become 100. Do you realize the inequality still remains the same? The inequality still remains the same, right? It doesn't change. Similarly, what if I subtract the same weights, equal weights from both the barbells? What will happen? 180. Let's subtract equal amounts, that is 50 kgs from both of these. If I subtract 50 kgs from both of these, what will happen? This will become, bachcho, 50, this will become 30. Inequality still remains the same. Mr. Strong still will lift higher weight or more weight as compared to Mr. Shaky. So what we have observed with this, when I add or subtract same equal amount from both sides of inequality, inequality does not change. So how do you represent that mathematically? Look at this. If A is greater than B, remember, adding or subtracting the same number C on both the sides does not change the inequality. Are you guys taking notes? I'm your teacher, not a spoon feeder. Take your own notes. I will not give you PDF. So what have we seen? So if A is greater than B, if I add or subtract the same amount on both the sides, the inequality does not change. You can see with an example as well. Say 5 greater than 3, right? So if I add 2 on both the sides, what will become? 7, 5, inequality remains the same. Subtract 2 on both the sides, 5 minus 2, 3, 3 minus 2, 1. Inequality still remains the same. Greater than remains greater than, right? So this is your property number 1. Note it down, this is your property number 1. But, bachcho, what if I multiply both sides by the same number? What if I multiply both sides by the same number C? What I've done here, A into C, B into C. What was given to me was A greater than B. My question is, what's going to be inequality here? Greater than? Can it become also less than? Let's see with an example. So let us multiply both sides by 2. When I multiply both sides by 2, what will happen? See, look at this number. This is 10 and this number is 6. Will the inequality change? 5 is more than 3. 10 is also more than 6. Inequality does not change. But, what if I multiply both sides by minus 2? Now this is tricky. This is important to note. What will happen? The inequality will change. Let's see how. 5 into 2 is minus 10. 3 into 2 is 6 with a minus sign, so it is minus 6. Which is more? Minus 6 or minus 10? Don't make this mistake. Minus 6 is greater than minus 10, right? So what was greater than became less than here. So inequality changes when you multiply both sides by a negative number. That's it. Simple to understand and remember it. But also focus on this number line. In case you are confused, why is minus 6 greater than minus 10? Quick revision. Remember, on the number line, whatever lies on the right hand side is always greater. For example, 10 is greater than 6. Yes? 6 is greater than 5. 5 is greater than 3. 3 is greater than 0. 0 is greater than minus 6. And minus 6 is greater than minus 10. What we just saw. Yes? Alright. So, higher the value of the negative number, smaller it is. Let's see with an example as well. So, but before that, note it down. This is our observation number 2. Addition, subtraction both sides, no change in inequality. Multiplication of the same number on both sides, inequality changes only when what you are multiplying with is negative. C less than 0 means negative. What you are multiplying with is negative. What you are multiplying with is positive. In this case, inequality does not change. This is clear, right? Someone was asking me recently that is there a physical way, a real life way of understanding the same thing? Yes, there is. So let's take a very wonderful example of Mr. Strong and Mr. Shaky once again. You know what? Mr. Strong and Mr. Shaky are both good people. They help people. So since Mr. Strong is stronger, Mr. Strong is able to help more number of people with his strength. So actually Mr. Strong on the scale of goodness is much better, right? So if I think in terms of inequality, do you realize Mr. Strong is much better than Mr. Shaky, more good than Mr. Shaky because of his higher strength. Let me represent strength by 200 because this is the weight, maximum weight that he can lift. This is the maximum weight 100 which Mr. Shaky can lift. But what if I become God for some time? And what do? Let me give them special power like a Brahmastra, right? So what I do, let me multiply their powers by 3, a positive number 3. Let me make their power 3 times. What will happen? Now Mr. Strong actually becomes much more stronger, 600. Mr. Shaky also becomes strong, but less strong as compared to this new avatar of Mr. Strong, right? So Mr. Shaky is strong, but less strong than Mr. Strong, right? So do you see the inequality? Do you see the inequality? When you multiply their power by 3, still the inequality remains the same, right? Still Mr. Strong is more good. Now, but what if I actually make them evil? Like in Star Wars. Do you remember? Have you watched Star Wars? There's this character called Anakin who becomes very strong, but he gets negatively influenced. He turns out to be evil, right? If you have not watched Star Wars, you can go and watch it. So, what I'm going to do here, let me make them evil. How? By multiplying them by -3. I'm making them stronger, but on the negative side, on the evil side. What happens now? Mr. Strong, who was actually good earlier, now has become evil. Much more evil as compared to Mr. Shaky, who has also become evil, right? But comparatively, who is better? Who's better? Mr. Strong now is so much more evil. Actually, Mr. Shaky is better off than him, right? So, in the scale of goodness, from here to here, the goodness increases, right? So, Mr. Strong was more good than Mr. Shaky. Here, Mr. Shaky is actually more good than Mr. Strong, right? Lesser evil is better off, right? So, do you see the inequality has changed? The inequality here, Mr. Strong के ऊपर greater than sign was there. Here, the greater than sign is with Mr. Shaky, right? This is how the life turns out to be. At times, more powerful people, like politicians, if they become evil, they can do so much more evil, right? So this is how we interpret inequalities with real life. So this is the summary of what we have learned. We also saw an example. Now let's do one thing. Now let's see, what if I, rather than multiplying, what if I divide both sides by a number? What will happen? Always remember, division and multiplication usually follow the same nature in the case of inequalities. Let's see with an example. So A is greater than B. What if I divide both sides by the same number? Example, let's again take example. Let us divide 8 greater than 4. Let's divide both by 2. What will happen? Nothing. ये कितना हो गया? This is 4. This is 2. We again see that 4 is greater than 2. Inequality does not change, right? But in this particular case, right, 8 divided by -2. Now this is -4 and this is -2. Which is greater? Which is on the right hand side of number line? minus 2 is on the right hand side of number line, inequality changes, right? Exactly like in the case of multiplication. So both when you multiply both sides by positive number and when you divide both sides by positive number, inequality does not change. If you multiply both sides by negative number, if you divide both sides by negative number, inequality changes. So this is your final screen which you should revise. But how do we understand this in form of examples? What kind of questions do we get? How do we apply this in maths after this observation? Let's see with basic examples. I'll take very basic examples and then we will slowly increase the level. Alright, so let us begin with this. X plus 5 greater than 0. How do we approach it? So in equality, what you used to do, you used to take 5 on the other side. You can still do that, but let me tell you the proper steps of understanding it. So let us say x plus 5 and this is 0. What if I subtract 5 on both the sides? If I subtract 5 on both the sides, will the inequality change? No, it should not change. It will still remain this, right? So this gets cancelled out. What do you have? X greater than minus 5. So this is what we say, we are solving for x. What we are doing here, bachcho? We are solving for x. What it means, if this is the inequality, question is, what values of x satisfy this inequality? These are the values of x which satisfy this inequality, right? You can also understand this by simply taking 5 on the other side, like you used to do in the case of equations. Still is good enough, right? That we understood. Similarly here, what can you do? The proper way from the properties that we have understood, you can add 3 on both the sides. Can I add 3 on both the sides? Yes. So plus 3, inequality does not change. What you have is x less than equal to 3. You can also understand this by saying, I can take 3 on the other side. This minus 3 goes on the other side and it becomes plus 3. You can also imagine it like that. But this is the proper way of understanding it through the properties. And what are we doing? This is an inequation. This is the solution of the inequation. It means all the values of x less than or equal to 3 will satisfy this. You can take values and check. For example, let's take a value which is less than 3. 2. 2 minus 3 minus 1 less than equal to 0. Perfect. It satisfies. Let's take a number which is not in this solution range. Say, let's take a number greater than 3. Let's take 4. 4 minus 3, 1. Is 1 less than equal to 0? No. Right? So, 4 which is not part of this does not satisfy this. Correct. This is good. Right. Now let's take examples where you have to multiply and divide. Till here what did we see? Adding and subtracting on both sides, simple, inequality does not change. What you used to do for equations, you can still do the same thing for inequations. But let's look here. What do we have? 3x greater than 6. When you are solving for x, what do you want? You want x on one side, either greater than or less than or greater than equal to or less than equal to something on the other side. So I want x kept on one side. Here what is there? There is 3x. What do I want? I want x on one side. So what should I do? I should divide both sides by 3. So 3x, 6. What do I want to do? I want to divide both sides by 3. When you divide both sides by 3, will the inequality change? No, because you are dividing by a positive number. This is a positive number. You are dividing both sides by a positive number. Inequality should not change. So what you are left with is 3 divided by 3, 1, x greater than 2. This is your solution of this inequality. But the problem becomes a bit complicated in this case. Can you try doing it, all of you? Try doing it. What happens? minus 2x less than equal to 4. So what do you want to do? You want to do this. You want to divide both sides, now in this case by minus 2. Yes, you want to divide both sides by minus 2. But the thing is, what you are dividing with is negative. What you are dividing with is negative. So the inequality definitely should change. What was less than equal to now should become greater than equal to. Agree? This is very important step, bacho. Right? So this inequality changes. This inequality changes after dividing both sides by a negative number. So what remains is this. So what do you get? So minus 2 cancels out. X greater than equal to 4 divided by minus 2 is minus 2. This is your solution. So this is a very, very important. So this is where the mistakes happen, and this is the reason why we are studying this chapter. Right? Got it? Dividing by 3, no change. Dividing by minus 2, inequality changes. Right? Now let's take one more example. Let's look at this. Solving problems will take away all your problems in life. So take out your copy and pen and start solving with me right now. Minus x by 2 greater than equal to 5. So again there is a minus sign here with x. I don't like this minus sign with x and I don't like this 2 with x. So what should I do? So method 1. So what you can do, can I multiply both sides by minus 1? Let's do that. So I have minus x by 2. I have 5. Let me multiply both sides by minus 1. Can I do that? Why am I doing this? Because I want to remove this minus sign. What is the way to remove minus sign? Give it one more minus sign, right? So minus minus becomes plus, right? So, but what will happen to the inequality? Because you are multiplying with a negative number, inequality definitely should change. So what you get? You get minus minus becomes plus, so you get x by 2 less than equal to minus 5. Now it is simple. Now you multiply both sides by 2. So next step, you multiply both sides by 2. So what will happen? So x by 2 multiplied by 2 less than equal to minus 5 multiplied by 2. So I am multiplying both sides by 2. Inequality should not change. Less than equal to will remain less than equal to. Yes, inequality should not change. So what you get? 2 cancel. X less than equal to minus 10. That's your solution in this case. Agree? Now, another way to, some students visualize it like this also. So some say, can I also write this as same thing, right? This minus sign can be kept with this 2 here, same thing, right? Now, what I do, let me multiply both sides by minus 2 directly. So what do I do? Let me multiply both sides by minus 2. Okay? Minus 2, minus 2. What will happen to the inequality? Because I am multiplying both sides by minus 2, so this greater than equal to should become less than equal to. Right? That's it. You can do it in a single step. So minus 2 cancels out and you directly get the same answer once again. What will happen? This remains x. This becomes 5 into minus 2 minus 10. Right? So you can visualize it in both the ways. Now let's one more example. Can you do this? This is so simple now. Here you don't want this 2 divided by x. This 2 in the denominator of x, you don't want it. So what do? You multiply both sides by 2. Kar de? Can you do that? So what will happen? X by 2 into 2, 5 into 2. Inequality will not change, correct? Because you are multiplying by a positive number. So what you get? X greater than equal to 10. X greater than equal to 10. Correct? Till here? Any doubt? So what is the problem? In this case, can you cross multiply minus 2 on the other side? Don't do that. So never cross multiply across inequalities. What do? You multiply or divide by the same number across the inequality. If it is negative number, you are multiplying or dividing with, inequality changes. Cross multiplication is like suicide, terror, disaster. Don't do that, right? Chalo. And let's see these two examples. 5x greater than or equal to 0 and minus 2x greater than 0. Again, in this case, some students get confused by this 0. Don't be. What you don't want here? You don't want 5 here. So you divide both sides by. Can I do this? Can I divide both sides by 5? Yes. What will be the inequality? Same, because I am dividing by a positive number. No problem. So what will it become? 5x upon 5 is x. 0 divided by 5. 0. Anything you divide 0 with makes it 0 again, right? So this is 0. That's it. X greater than 0. And it's not difficult to understand also. You can understand it like this as well. Read with me very carefully. Now I'm telling you a logical way to think. This is the mathematical way of doing it. Now let's think about a logical way of understanding it. Ye kya hai? What does it mean? Greater than or equal to 0 means what? Positive. So what you mean to say is that 5x is positive. What you mean to say? 5x is positive. When is 5x positive? Look carefully. It is 5 multiplied by x. This should be positive, right? 5 itself is positive. So what should you multiply? Should you multiply a negative number with 5 or a positive number with 5 to give the output of a positive number? Of course, you will multiply you multiply 5 with a positive number. 5 is a positive number. When you multiply 5 with a positive number, the output will be a positive number. Hence, do you see the answer? X is coming out to be positive, right? Can x be equal to 0 as well? Yes. When x become equal to 0, this inequality is satisfied, right? Hence, here we have equality also. You getting me? So x is positive. X can also be 0 to satisfy this inequality. This is the logical way of thinking. Now look at this. Let's look at this. Let's do the same thing logically as well as mathematically. Mathematically, bachcho, what will you do? Minus 2 is something that you don't like. So you will want to divide both sides by minus 2. Correct. So you want to divide both sides by minus 2. But what will happen when you divide both sides by minus 2? Inequality. Yes, you got it. Inequality will change. Perfect. You are experts now, right? So what will happen? Minus 2 cancels out. You are left with x. 0 divided by minus 2. Whatever. 0 divided by whatever will be 0. So this is 0. This is your answer. Now, can you think about the logical way of understanding it? Yes, why not? What does this mean? This means positive. Right. So minus 2x should be positive. But look at this. Minus 2 multiplied by x should be positive. Minus 2 itself is a negative number. What should you multiply a negative number with to give you a positive output? Of course, negative number. So this should also be negative. So negative number multiplied by a negative number will give you positive quantity, right? Hence you can see x is coming out to be negative. X less than 0 means what? Negative. So these are all logics. These are all simple logics that we are dealing with. Alright, now let us do some examples. Should we do it? Let's start with some very simple examples. But before that, quick revision. What we have done till now? Simple observations that the world is full of inequalities. We are learning mathematical tools to measure the inequalities. We started with two observations. In an inequation, a greater than b, adding, subtracting both sides doesn't change anything. Multiplying same number on both sides, keeps it same if number you are multiplying or dividing with is positive, but if you are dividing or multiplying with a negative number, only then the inequality changes. Now let's look at this. Come here. What is this? 2x minus 6 greater than 0. Step 1. Whatever things are in addition or subtraction, first remove it. First take it to the other side, or other way to understand that is step 1. 2x minus 6, 0. You can add 6 on both the sides. Inequality does not change. Adding, subtracting, inequality does not change. What do you get? You get 2x minus 6 plus 6 removed, 0 here, and this is 6. Next step, you divide both sides by, what is there with x? 2. So you divide both sides by 2. So what do you get? 2x divided by 2, 6 divided by 2. Should the inequality change? No, because what you are dividing with is positive. Inequality should not change. So what you end up getting is x greater than 3. Got it? From here to here, this is step. You could have also visualized by taking 6 on the other side. Same, no problem, right? This is clear, simple. So x greater than 3 is the solution of this inequation. What is this, bachcho? This is inequation, right? So all the values of x greater than 3 will satisfy this inequality. You can check by putting values for your own satisfaction, right? Let's take one more example. 3x plus 8 less than equal to 2. Step 1, as I told you, whatever is there in addition or subtraction, step 1, remove it. Either by taking it to other side or by adding, subtracting with the same number. So let me do it. So step 1, 3x plus 8, 2, let me subtract 8 on both the sides. Inequality will not change. Inequality will not change because we are adding and subtracting. So what do you get? 3x is less than equal to, this becomes 0, 2 minus 8 is minus 6. Next step, don't get confused by minus 6, okay? With x is 3, so you are dividing both sides by 3. So you are dividing both sides by 3. When you divide both sides by 3, should the inequality change? No. No. Only focus on what you are dividing or multiplying with. That's it. If that is negative, only then the inequality changes. Some students get confused by this minus 6. Don't. Right? So inequality will not change here because you are dividing with a positive number. So what do you get? X less than equal to minus 2. This is the solution set of this inequation. Got it? Another way to visualize this, bachcho, you can take this 8 on this side, you will directly reach this step. Okay? 8 goes there, it becomes minus 8, you are left with this. This is clear? Simple examples. Now, let's come to this one, what I showed you in the beginning of the class. Okay? Let's do this. Let's see if you do the mistake here or do you do it correct. Let's begin. All of you, do it. Go a step further than me. Step 1, what should you do? Whatever is there in addition or subtraction, you first remove it. Two ways, either add 18 on both the sides, or now we are becoming a bit expert, right? You can directly take 18 on the other side. Is that okay? Can I do it? Can I directly write? Still, if somebody has doubt what I am doing, you can add 18 on both the sides. Inequality does not change. One and the same thing. Now what do you want to do? You want to divide both sides, bachcho, by what? X ke sath, what is there? What is there with x? Minus 9. So you want to divide by minus 9. Do it. Minus 9. So let's divide by minus 9 on both the sides. But when you do that, inequality will change. Don't make the mistake here. Classical mistakes. Disaster ho jayega. It will be a disaster. right? Don't do the mistake of keeping the inequality same, right? So what will happen? Minus 9 cancels out. So what you're left with is x less than equal to 18 divided by minus 9 is minus 2. That's your answer. X less than equal to minus 2. Got it? Is this clear, all of you? Should I move ahead? Cool. Let's take more examples. But before I move ahead, this is how I solved it. But some students try to do it in different ways. So let's see those different ways so that your concepts are clear. So what some children do, what they do, they take minus common outside. Fair enough, no problem. So what I do, let me take minus common outside from both. I can do that. Now, can I multiply both sides by minus 1? Because I am not liking this minus sign. I don't like this minus sign. Can I multiply both sides by minus 1? Yes, you can do that. When you multiply this side by minus 1, that will eat up the minus sign. 0 multiplied by minus 1, 0. But the inequality will change. Right? So don't directly cut the negative sign. The way to remove the minus sign is multiplying both sides by minus 1, but that changes the inequality. Got it? So this inequality changes. This minus sign now gets removed. What you can do? Take 18 on the other side and then divide by 9. Then divide by 9. Dividing by 9, inequality will not change because 9 is a positive number. You again reach the same solution, same answer. Got it? Showing you so that your concepts are clearer. Alright, makes sense? This is a good question for your basic revision. Mentally tired? Bored? Take a deep breath. I want your full concentration in solving problems. Right. Now let us solve this question. Let's do this. All of you, come here. X minus 1 greater than 9 minus x whole divided by 2. अब क्या करूं? What should I do now? Think. Till the time there is 2 in the denominator, I cannot do further calculations. So what should you do? Can you remove this 2? Yes, by multiplying both sides by 2. By multiplying both sides by 2, right? So, let's see. I want to remove this 2 in the denominator. What do I do? X minus 1 greater than 9 minus x by 2. Let me multiply both the sides by 2. The inequality will not change because I am multiplying by a positive number. So what does it give me? It gives me 2x. Now see, 2 gets multiplied. I am opening up the bracket. 2 multiplied by x is 2x. 2 multiplied by 1 is 2. Minus sign, don't forget that. Greater than 2 cancels out. You are left with 9 minus x. Is this clear? Is this clear? Alright. Now, what can I do? A bit of rearrangement. So what do I want to do now? I want to take this x, this minus x on this side and this minus 2 on this side. Can I do that? Taking things on the other side is okay because that is addition or subtraction, right? That is okay, inequality does not change. Cross multiplying or cross dividing is not okay because there multiplication or division comes in. That is where the problem of sign change can happen, right? So taking things on the other side by addition, subtraction, it's fine. So what happens? This minus x comes here, it becomes 2x plus x. This minus 2 goes there, it becomes 9 plus 2, right? So what you are left with is now, what will it be? This is a 2x plus x, 3x greater than equal to 11. Now you can divide both sides, by 3. When you divide both sides by 3, inequality does not change. So what will it be? X greater than 11 by 3. That should be your answer, which should be C. Got it? Clear? I have done this for you, for your notes, which you will get. So step 1, multiplying both sides by 2. Then rearrangement, taking this minus x there, this minus 2 there, 3x greater than 11, dividing both sides by 3. This is your answer. Got it? Clear? Now let me give you couple of questions for your home assignment. I am giving you an assignment as well, which will be there in the Telegram group. I'll show you the link in a while. So this is your question which I want you to do just after seeing this class. After going through this class, I want you to do this. Hint. Simplify this side, open the bracket, multiply by half, simplify this side, open the bracket, simplify this side. After that, rearrange, take all the x on one side, take all the other numbers on the other side. After that, you multiply or divide. Okay? So you do it yourself. Similarly, I want you to do this one on your own as well. This is also your homework. Alright, again, first simplify this by taking LCM. Then you deal with 2 and 4 by multiplying with something. Alright, so you'll get an assignment. This is the Telegram group link where I'll be sharing everything for you. That is assignment, the solution of these, right, and details about the further classes. Alright, you can pause the video and note it down. It is also there in the description. Now let's move ahead. Let me solve this one for you. If you solve this one with me, the other two problems and all the problems which I'm going to give you will be simple. So let this be the last problem of the class. Let's do it together. X by 2 greater than, there is this term, there is this another term. What do? Let me first take the LCM and simplify this one side of the inequality. Can I do that? Let's see. What I'm going to do, let me take the LCM, x by 2, keep it as it is, greater than or equal to, no change in inequality, I'm not touching the inequality, I'm just simplifying this by taking LCM. When I take LCM, 5, 3, 15 is the LCM, multiply this by 5, multiply this by 3, so 5x minus 2 minus 3 times 7x minus 3 whole divided by 15. Is this okay? Now you open the brackets and simplify. What will you get? Greater than or equal to 25x, 5 into 5, 25, 5 into 2, 10. Don't forget the minus sign. Minus 3 into 7, minus 21x. Minus 3 multiplied by minus 3, that is plus 9. Divided by 15, and this is x by 2. A step further. 25 minus 21, what you get? X by 2 on this side greater than or equal to 25 minus 21 is 4x minus 10 plus 1. Minus 10 plus 1 is minus 1 divided by 15. You must have got till here. You must have got till here. Now let's see what to do after this. Right. So we have got till here. X by 2 greater than 4x minus 1 upon 15. Multiple things, right? So way to approach this is, can I multiply both sides by 30? That will remove 2, that will remove 15 as well, right? Basically what I am doing, I am multiplying both sides by 15 into 2. I am multiplying both sides by 15 into 2, right? Let's see. I'll tell you another way, don't worry. But here observe, I am multiplying both sides by 15 into 2. What will happen? This 15 goes away, this 2 goes away, right? What you are left with, 15x is greater than or equal to 2 times 4, 8x, 2 times 1, minus 2. You are arguing, sir, why didn't you cross multiply? Yes, you can cross multiply as well. You can take 15 on this side, 2 on that side, but remember, cross multiply only when the numbers are positive. Imagine this was minus 2. If you had cross multiplied, wrong, mar jaoge, you will die of this error, right? This is disaster. So cross multiplication is very, very dangerous across inequalities. If you are doing it, ensure you are cross multiplying only with the positive numbers. Otherwise, the inequality will change. So here there is 2, there is 15, both are positive. Yes, you could have cross multiplied. Okay? Otherwise, don't. Best way is imagine like this. Alright? Now what you have is 15x greater than or equal to 8x minus 2. Right? Now solve. Take 8 on the other side. 15 minus 8x will be 7x. Minus 2 is on this side. Now you can divide by 7. You can divide by 7. Dividing by 7 does not change the inequality because you are dividing by a positive number. Is this clear? Okay? So important thing, cross multiply se daro, be scared of cross multiplying, it is dangerous. Another way to do actually is this. If you don't want any error, take everything on one side also, that's also good. So you could have done it like this as well. You could have done it x by 2. Can I take this entire thing on the other side? That is addition and subtraction, no problem. I could have done it like this. Taking everything on one side, taking this entire thing on the other side. Now take the LCM. Now when you take the LCM, there is absolutely no problem. This side will become whatever that it should become. No problem of cross multiplication and you will directly reach the answer. Try this on your own. Okay? So this is all about inequalities, the basics of inequalities. What next? Next is representation on number line. So how do we represent x greater than 1, x greater than or equal to 1, x less than 1, x less than or equal to 1 on the number line is what we are going to study in the next class. We want to understand the representation of the intervals. For example, what is this 2 to 3? What is this closed bracket 2 to 3 open? What is this 3 to infinity? What is this minus infinity to 1? Right? We are going to understand this. In the next class, we want to understand the concept of union and intersection. At times in problems, you see things like this. Minus infinity to 1, union 2 to 3. What does it mean? What does this U mean? Right? At times you see intersection, which is this symbol. What is that? We are going to learn that in the next class. Alright? And we'll do lots of amazing examples. And finally, we are going to reach wavy curve, a super duper important tool, method for maths. Remember, all these inequalities are like the basic language, like ABCD of maths for the entire maths coming up in class 11th and 12th. So chapters like quadratic equations, functions, sets, then your entire calculus in 12th, everywhere you will see inequalities and you will use all what we have learnt to solve the questions. Alright, so this is what you have learned today. I want you to revise. Today your foundation has become very, very strong, bachcho. So see you in my next class. I am Pulkit, your maths teacher, co-founder of Vedantu, and I always say, bachcho, the most beautiful graph is y equal to x square. That is a beautiful smile on your faces. Always keep it on your face. Keep dreaming on. See you in my next class. You can join in this Telegram group for more details. Bye-bye.